This is a heavy subject, and I'll admit up front I haven't been a great husband. My wife, Sarah, was one of the safest drivers I knew. So far as I can tell, she'd never even come close to getting a penalty point on her license. But then we were heading home on the last Sunday before Christmas. I know it was a Sunday because her parents dragged us to a nativity play at their church. Our 6-year-old daughter, Tanya, was in the back. We were driving down a windy, icy stretch of road, taking things extra slow and extra carefully because we knew how dangerous that area is. Every year since I can remember, there's been memorial flowers around a tree or a lamppost somebody skidded into. Never thought it'd be me leaving some behind one day. I told everyone, all I remember is screaming, "Oh shit." Then it felt like getting thrown about inside a washing machine. The car stopped in a ditch at an angle, so I needed to climb up through the driver's side window. I think looking in the back is what sent me into shock more than the impact of the crash. I don't want to go into this, but I'll say I'm grateful my little angel didn't suffer. The first people who arrived said I was talking gibberish. I came to my senses and told a paramedic Sarah was still strapped into the driver's seat after the crash. I said I'd unhooked her belt but couldn't lift her through the window because she was unconscious, so I lowered her into the passenger side against the door. She'd cracked a dozen bones and split her head open really bad. She woke up at the hospital with no memory of the day. The doctors asked if I wanted to tell her about Tanya. I told them no, I'm not proud of that, but I felt sick just thinking about repeating the story. Afterward, I went in and sat by her bed and held her bandaged hand. She didn't really speak or show any emotion, but I don't blame her. She was on a heap of painkillers, plus in shock. When we finally got home, Sarah went days without showering or eating a proper meal. We received constant visits from family and friends, and they tried to help, but the problem is they'd shoehorn in that nobody was to blame for what happened so awkwardly it was painfully obvious they did think somebody was very much to blame. Sarah's mom is a deeply religious lady, and you could tell she especially was holding back. I've gotta say, I'd never have been able to face our loved ones knowing they blamed me for our daughter's death. Things got so bad Sarah started smoking and drinking. She kept snapping at me over tiny things, like cleaning too loud, and accused me of wanting to leave her if I said I needed to pick up milk or go for a walk. Things kept building for a while, and I didn't know how they'd end, only that it'd turn real ugly real fast. And I was right. Last night, I thought Sarah had passed out drunk in the armchair. I threw a blanket around her and started cleaning away the empty bottles around her feet. Then I looked up and saw her puffy eyes were wide open and jumped. She grabbed me by the wrist, leaned forward, looked me straight in the eye, and said, "Tell me what you remember about the accident." I want to know everything. I repeated what I told the paramedics. We hit the ice, then it was over in a flash. She paused, then said, "I'm going to ask you something. And I want you to be completely honest. I'll know if you're lying." She took a deep breath. "Is it my fault Tanya's dead?" I'm not proud of this, but I hesitated. Just for a split second, but long enough for her to see the truth. I just set down the bottles and walked away while she buried her face in her hands. What Sarah really wanted was for me to do was lie and say no, and that it was just a freak accident nobody could possibly be blamed for. But the truth is I couldn't bring myself to do that. Because I'm terrified if I go into too much detail, it might jog her memory. And then she'll remember it was me driving that day.